Feel free to share. Feel free to share. I will direct the attention to Mr. Pastor Brooks, and you can start us off, sir. Maybe you can unmute yourself. I know you can't because you tech savvy now. Okay. If not, let's switch over to Erica. Can you start us off?
Hi, my name is Erica Woodbody. I'm an educator. I teach special ed, junior high special ed. And so Stacie had invited me to participate in this. I'm as an educator, my understanding is that this is partly focused on like teenagers. Um, that's my understanding, but or at least the app. So, any input I could give on what you know, have discovered in working with teenagers is why I was interested in being on this call today. I also have a 13 son.
Okay, thank you. Have you been a Joliet resident your entire life, or how long have you been?
Yeah, I've lived in the area the majority of my life.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming. I'll toss it over to Donnie, Miss Chestnut. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Hello, everyone. I'm Donnie Chestnut with the Greater Joliet Area YMCA. I'm the Admissions Advancement Director here. And part of that is just expanding our Y services and partnership in the community. So many of what's going on in the Joliet community, there are like-minded people trying to do those things. So as we closed Smith this past spring, we partnership with the Salvation Army to have space for our youth care program. So right now we're running our summer day camp out of the Salvation Army. We'll be going back into school. We have a grant for a middle school students that we will be focusing on. So more to come on that. And of course, Teen Reach. We have other schools that are teen achievers that are looking for us to expand those services as well. So, and of course, our teen achievers, those that have been in the community know it's targeted high school, helping students just navigate through high school, preparing for college. Not every child is going to go to college, so we want to give them those skills and give them the opportunity to make well-informed decisions. So that's Donnie in a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you, a boatload, and feel free to really tune in and connect and see how one person's services or one company's services can benefit us and the entire community. I want to shoot it over to a guy real quick. I want to go to Mr. Hosey, Mr. Joseph.
Hello, I'm back. I was talking to Felix, so can you get me up to speed on what I missed?
Or would you just ourselves?
Oh, hi, Joe Hosey. Just sitting down again. Felix is in court. He needed my help on something, but I'm back.
Joe's all right.
All right, thank you, Joseph. I'll go to Jackson.
Hi, I'm Jackson White. I work with Donnie at the Greater Joliet YMCA. I'm our digital communications manager. So, doing things through digital channels and staying up to date and whether it's events or services and doing it through, social media and formats like that, running our website. So joining the call along with Donnie to kind of work through our side of the game plan from the YMCA perspective as well.
Okay. Thank you, Jackson. Then I'll go to Denise.
My name is Denise Barron Unland, and I write feature stories for the Herald News. So that focus would be human interest and anything in the community that, encompasses, that topic, which can be pretty broad. As Marcus should know, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you. Good to have you. Good to see you. We have 3 more individuals left. Pastor, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, sir, you got it.
All right. My name is Herbert Brooks Jr. I'm the pastor of St. John Church in unincorporated Joliet, Preston Heights area. And I'm also a Will County board member that represents District 8, which is predominantly the Joliet area.
That's it? I know you got more than that because I know you.
Well, I'm a Baptist preacher. When I talk longer, I got to take up an offering.
Oh, okay, sir. Well, hey,
Okay.
we're not doing the cash apping today.
Okay. I do cash app.
All right. Thank you, though,
Okay.
sir. I appreciate you.
Chime in later.
Yes, sir. And then we'll have, let me pronounce this correctly, Keisha, correct?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, sorry for the blacked out screen. I'm working from home with my kiddo and the dogs and, yeah, it's Keisha Ainsworth. I am the corporate engagement manager at the United Way of Will County. So we too like to have our, boots on the ground when it comes to things happening in the community. So I'm just really grateful to be on the call and really interested to learn about this initiative.
Yes, I'm happy. Y'all got me real excited today. I don't know what's going on with me. I'll turn it over to Miss Shar from BP Events.
Yes, so my name is Charlene from BP Events. I'm an event planner right here in Joliet, Illinois. I've been an event planner for about 17 years and plan social and corporate events. I'm actually planning a big event at the Joliet Slammer Stadium. It's called Elevate. I'm looking for businesses, vendors, sponsorships, anyone that would be interested in possibly having a table to represent their business.
And you've partnered with us in some services, and okay,
yes,
you want to tell us a little bit about
Thank
that?
you so much. Yes, actually, Shaw Media, and I'm sorry, Joliet Focus is one of the sponsors as well for the event. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you for that opportunity as well.
Shout out to you. Appreciate you, Miss Charlene. And last but certainly not least, Miss Stacie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stacie Dillard, community advocate, volunteer for National Hook of Black Women. I am the program chair and also the membership chair for the NAACP Joliet branch. I'm always looking to find out what's going on in the community. Came across Joliet Focus through Stacie Bell, and so she, sent me the link to join today to find out more information.
All right, thank you, Stacie, for jumping on. Link, like the young people would say. If you ever heard of the app, the Joliet Focus app, can you give me just a hand raise real quick if you have? Okay, okay, so most of us have. If you have not, Joliet Focus is an app that basically brings everything that we do in Joliet on one center stage, on one platform, whether you have a program, event, activity, or an experience in the community. We want to promote that app just to bring, like I said before, everything in synergy. We have a sea of content from the standpoint of social media, but our focus, our Joliet Focus, is on the positive experiences, the activities, and the programs that we take part in the Joliet region. Also, we do have the summer photo contest. We have a few individuals just off top of my head that's really been submitting photos. You had an opportunity to win an iPhone 12. I don't know who wouldn't want to win that. The contest is, of course, from July the 18th. It's now to July the 18th. And the person could come back and vote from July the 19th to the 31st. So you still have time. If you have young people, nieces and nephews, sons and daughters, or people that you are connected to, promote that they download the app and get those photos in the contest as soon as possible. I will now hand it over to Mr. Dennis Anderson.
Thanks very much, Marcus. I appreciate it. And thanks again for everybody to join us. Again, we're really excited about this opportunity, and when we've been talking to people, a lot of people say, how do I get my news into the paper, or how do I share something with you? And so I put together this quick presentation on how to go about doing that. Can everybody see that?
Not as of yet.
Let's see.
Yes, we can see. Yeah, we can see it now, Mr.
Yeah.
Dennis.
Okay. The tips for submitting a press release.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that? Okay, great. Things that we need, that we're looking for, is if you want to get something in the papers, like it's best to try and answer these 5 questions, and that's what journalists do. It's like who, what, where, when, why. These are all questions that all of our news stories need to have, and that also includes our when we do a press release, when we get information to us. So the who, we want to know what individuals or organizations are involved in the event or the news that you're presenting. what will happen at the event, and who should be the most likely attendees. Where is that event? Include the exact address. And what's the purpose of the event, or why will a reader be interested in this news? And what time of day does the event start? So those kind of details. And we also want to make sure that with the press release include contact names. So if we have a question on the news side, or the reader does, what's a phone number or an email address where people can be a point of contact to for more questions, or if they needed more information. And please put as much information as you can as possible into the text of your, and send, if you got a flyer that you're sending out, share that with us, and anything else that would help us better share the information with our readers. That also sometimes include photos. And the best way to contact with us is through email, and that email's there at news@theheraldnews-news.com. And if you're also interested in sharing anything with us, or just knowing more about who we are, that's another way to reach out through the URL shawlocal.com/theheraldnews/contact/. Is there any questions regarding that? I hope that helps.
Dennis, from your standpoint, what's the importance of submitting a story or submitting a press release?
That's a really good question, because if we don't know about something, it's likely we're not going to be able to share that with our readers. And we reach thousands of people in print and then online. There's just so many ways to make connections with our readers through this information. So it's, if we know about something, we could share it. And also if we think it could be something good for us, to maybe send a reporter to, that will give us an opportunity to know more about it, so we can make decisions on whether we should cover something.
All right, thank you.
Okay. And I'd like to have talk with Denise here. She's been working on a series of stories this month. What we call enterprise. It's more than just a basic story, the who, what, when, where, why type thing, but she's getting it in depth on how community members have been able to get help from social service agencies and others throughout the Joliet area. And she's focusing on, during the pandemic, how these organizations have helped other people. Denise, can you go more in depth on that?
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you for the opportunity just to share a couple of words about that. When the pandemic, let me even back up. As I said that, I do write features, and I do like the opportunity to really get in depth into a story. So when the pandemic started, we were, obviously a lot of focus was on COVID. And then we focused, there was a lot of focus on first, people working the front line. And then we spent quite a few months exploring how COVID affected people of color, not even just from a health standpoint, but, from a socioeconomic standpoint as well, and some other areas. And then we were asked to start doing these quarterly enterprise stories. And the first one, I focused on how isolation impacted the elderly, because that was, important. And then we took a look at restaurants. But one of the things I had wanted to do last year and didn't have the time, I'd start and stop, was looking at how COVID impacted local nonprofits. And having written, features for the community a long time, I've interviewed, many times over the years, various nonprofits. I knew what they offered in the way of services. I had an idea of the need. And that need was, I realized just how large it had gotten this past year when I was asked to write a story to kind of promote our Herald Angels campaign. And when I talked to United Way of Will County, I was told it was absolutely unprecedented. I received, information as far as, what the need was like before the pandemic, what it was like after the pandemic. And it was amazing how the community responded just to our Herald Angels campaign. So when the next quarter rolled around, I really wanted this opportunity to take a look at nonprofits. And what made, I thought, nonprofits kind of interesting is that they were on the front lines too, but not providing medical care. And what was unique about nonprofits is they're not only providing care to the community, they rely on fundraisers in many cases in order to provide that care. And most, if not all, were canceled, even though people tried, changing some of those online, and the need went up. So I had 5 questions. There's so many nonprofits, where do you start? And so I tried to narrow it down so that I could get kind of a sweeping look at a variety of populations and needs and services. And I just had a few questions to ask, and boy, they wanted to talk. I had 5 questions. I asked what their biggest need was pre-COVID. How did COVID impact their ability to serve clients? How did COVID impact their ability to fundraise? What strategies do they implement? And what's the biggest challenge for 2021? And interestingly, the biggest challenge wasn't funds. For the most, it was the biggest challenge pre-COVID because there's always a need and there's always not enough money. But what the nonprofits are saying by and large is even though it was a very tough year for people, economically and in other areas, people still gave. And they really didn't end up with that deficit of funding that they thought they might have. And that's including with the need going up. Many of them were very quickly switched to remote programming, but the biggest need, some of these, especially those with health and human services, was staffing. And that continues to be their biggest need because some of the problems with staffing before is that, sometimes they're not able to pay a competitive wage. And when you added the health component on top of that, people were taking a step back and looking for remote work and some other things. So that was, I thought it was interesting just to kind of explore just how the nonprofits, addressed the need during COVID, how they, kept their own doors open and how they continued servicing their clients. Certainly, the needs for funds continue in 2021 as society is opening back up. But in many cases, they also need people to come and work for them and volunteer for them as well.
That's great. What kind of feedback have you heard?
As far as from the community per se? Yeah, I haven't heard much feedback from the community, but I wasn't expecting to, I guess. It was more to put nonprofits back on the community's mind. And unless you were in need, you might not have considered that because people's own needs were so pressing last year. But also to remind people that they're there if you need help, to remind people that the nonprofits need help in order to continue helping people. And I guess I'll say one final thing, Will County is very interesting as far as a lot of other places is we have a lot of nonprofits. I mean, the amount of nonprofits that are available, willing and able to serve the community is really, it's just unusual. And it's a very giving community. I was expecting to hear, funding went down and people were, they were struggling to make ends meet, but they said overall, people still continued to give. And, with Guardian Angel, one of the surprises there was they said that restaurants who were struggling were donating, to their clients in the domestic violence shelter to make sure that they were fed. And that was a surprise to Guardian Angel. And I was surprised to hear that too. They, restaurants that were already struggling were, to keep their own doors open, were donating food. It's that kind of giving that I thought was very impressive.
When people talk to us about what kind of stories that they like and they want to read and want to know more of, it's the local stories. And it's the stories like this that talk about the human interest. People want to know about their neighbors, and I appreciate the stories that you're doing, and that's a lot. That's why we're doing this kind of outreach and trying to work with people in the community, people who want to know. And Marcus, what's the thing? That thing you say, if you're not in the know,
If you're not in the know, you're not in the now.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to be. That we're part of that, and if we're listening, then we're hearing the stories that we need to be writing about. And Marcus, you sent out a note prior to this meeting and asking people what are concerns that they have or things that they want to see happening in their community, and you shared that with us, and is sharing with our reporters and editors too, on what people want to see happen in their community, or what the community needs. And I think sometimes things that concern people about their own city would be some of the things that we're seeing on this list, where people want to see more places to eat, places to go out to eat, and places to shop. And even for those who have food allergies, people are looking for their parks to be clean and safe. Something that came up quite a bit was what they call their roadways are pothole farms. That there's so many potholes on the roads need to be repaired. That the Jefferson Street Bridge needs to be opened. I keep reading about community cleanup is needed. More retail people are looking for. Again, more on the fix the roads, please. Roads, bridges, and dealing with abandoned houses and buildings. And then there's someone who's talked about he and his wife are definitely interested in helping form a neighborhood community cleanup. And that just making comparisons between Joliet and Chicago, and the concerns that they share and the opportunities. And and I've seen this in many communities too, about food deserts, the lack of healthy food that's available in communities and neighborhoods. And then something for teenagers and young adults up to age 20, things for them to do. And if people stop using their street as a raceway, and then more dealing with potholes and the need to repair I-80. So yeah, I could see all of these as being potential stories for us to work on and to show and do stories about what's happening with those issues and how things can be improved. And we're hoping that these monthly town halls that we're doing, we expect our next one to be in person in Joliet, is for us to hear what potential stories are out there. And I want to see if there's anything for those of you here that you want to share with us that you think are potential stories or things that need to be addressed.
Well, I do, if I can, Dennis. As a county board member, my office in unincorporated Joliet, Preston Heights area. And a lot of people don't like to come out here and visit me because of all the truck traffic. And that's something I did not hear you mention. However, as a county board member, I'm constantly bombarded with residents around Route 53, Mills Road, Lowry Road, Interstate 80 that live in this vicinity that knows what the truck traffic is like. And that's a concern. And it comes down to safety, Dennis. It comes down to safety. And that's why I hear a lot of in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I've experienced that too. Yeah.
That's why nobody want to visit me.
Pastor Brooks.
Okay, I'll go back on mute.
Anybody else have some concerns that they would like to share? It's an open forum.
See, many of you work with children, and we see that as an opportunity, especially with the Joliet Focus app, to give people a chance to share their photos and stories and artwork. Have you had a chance to take a look at the app and hopefully post something and share it?
Well, that was actually going to be a question of mine, because like for the Y, when you download the app, can you create like a business profile for that, or does it have to be just individuals who work for the thing, for, you know, like in theory, or can it be like the association's account for that?
You could create something that would be an association's account, sure.
Okay.
The YMCA, yeah.
One other piece that we've seen from the app is that people are downloading and sending photos, of course, and experience, but also flyers. So say, for example, Miss Charlene has an event coming up in August. She can send that flyer to us and we can download that flyer into the app and it'll show up on the app. And also it can be shared. It can be shared via text or social media. Say, for example, if you have a group of individuals in your text chat that you want them to know that that event is taking place, you can download that flyer and send it to them via text, or you can send it via social media.
And we want the app to be a safe place too. That's why everything is reviewed before it's posted live.
Yeah, and up to this point, everybody's been real tasteful. It hasn't been a bombardment of, you know, different images, but it's been more so a real moderate level of positive images and different activities and events that's taking place in the city.
I'm sorry I'm driving, but I haven't really been following Joliet Focus lately until I saw Stacie the other week. So can you just go over like what kind of pictures and stuff you guys are looking for, or what kind of, like, who is it targeted to?
Dennis, you want to?
No, go ahead.
Want me to? Yeah, okay, so I'm pulling up the app. So of course, Erica, you can't pull it up because you're driving and we want you to be safe. So I'll give you a taste of the different type of pictures that I've seen. For example, there was an East Side Neighborhood Council submitted a flyer promoting taking action for vaccinations. That was one, and that was a flyer itself. We also have Miss Stacie. Stacie, hey, how you doing today? You may not be able to respond, but good to see you. We had Stacie pictures downloaded on the app because she did a presentation at Town Hall, and we wanted to highlight that as well. We have even people sending pictures of flowers. If you have a person's photographer and that our form really strikes them or that resonates with that person, that's their expression that they can release to the app and just show that positive aspect or that artistic viewpoint from an artistry standpoint. Lastly, for another example, we have the cruise night, which is every Thursday, June through August. And those are basically people gather, they throw up the hood of their cars and they sit out, talk, have a good time, eat food or ice cream, and talk about the vehicles. So those are different venues and ways that people use the app to promote their experience or what they go through in terms of being in the city. Did that give you some clarity, Erica?
And it could include just if there's some art that people are proud of and they want to share, events, people having a party and want to share their what's going on, anything like that. Just it's a way to share your work.
And lastly, we've had people download them walking in the Run Rock Preserve with family. So whatever they experience that person wants to project, they have the liberty to download that to the app. We approve it and then we get it posted.
So sound like, gentlemen, positive things. So what about then political ads? For example, John Doe running for senator and has a fundraiser coming up. Do you do flyers as such?
It's not really what it's about. It's more about living in Joliet and sharing your experiences there, not so much as political. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Any other thoughts, feedbacks, or questions? I'm wondering, my question to the group is, I'm wondering, how do you see this town hall, and also how do you see the app being effective for you and what you do on a daily basis? If anybody, feel free to share.
But the last word you used there is most important, I think, for Joliet Focus and what we hope to do and share is when you come across somebody or someone you think who might be interested in this, please share that with them. And you could download the app on any of your app stores for Apple or what's the other one? The
iPhone.
well, the iPhone and Androids.
Yeah.
Yeah, just please share this, and it's just giving people an opportunity to hear what we're about and to share what they're thinking.
Dennis, could I ask another question? Sure. I am working with the American Red Cross, and they are trying their goodest to get African Americans to donate blood. I don't know if you all heard about this. So I partnered with them and Pastor Warren Doris here in Joliet and JD Ross and a couple others on committee so that we can get the word out. And we got a celebration coming up in September. Would that be something?
Yes.
That it would? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Something that's going to make the community better. That's
okay. 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 All right.
Herb, I'm actually kind of excited to hear about that event. I had written a story, I want to say about 8 months ago, you know, on the need for that. If you could reach out to the Herald News, or I may have your number, let's talk a little bit more about and see if we can, because that's very interesting, and I'm excited to hear you're doing an event on that.
Okay, very good. We'll do that, Denise.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, can't think of his last name. He's working for the county, but he's now the American Red Cross director for this area, and he is the one. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Donnie. I knew we had on the meeting for some reason. Thanks. She'll get me later. But yes, Brian reached out to me so that we can do some things to make it more aware. Denise, I think it'll make a great story, and I'm glad you're on the call. Thank you.
And from my viewpoint to you all, for your consideration, whether an individual has a not-for-profit or a profit or for-profit organization, one of the major keys is to create brand awareness. Though a person may be in a particular field for X amount of years, there still is people who don't know you, and they may not know what it is that you do. So using the storylines, having access to different events or a platform where you can share your stories, whether it be, you know, in the Herald News or if you download it to the app, that's going to give us the awareness that we need to be able to support each other. I see Mr. Lucas has jumped in. Good afternoon, Mr. Lucas. How you doing today?
Hello, hello. How's everyone?
Awesome. You jumped in. You late, but sir, you on time.
I do what I can.
Can you give us a brief introduction of who you are and your organization?
Sure. My name is John Lucas. I am a native of Joliet, Illinois, a Joliet Central graduate in 1994. I am the CEO president of Step Into the Light. It is a nonprofit organization that provides educational and arts programming and resources to underserved and underprivileged youth, specifically targeting the descendants of Black freedmen or emancipated slaves. And so I've been here for a year and just trying to do the work in the Black community.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That's why I could throw a little jab at him about being late, because we have a working relationship working with young people in the Joliet community, particularly Joliet Central. So thank you, Mr. Lucas, for joining us, sir. I appreciate you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. Dennis, you had anything else you wanted to talk about?
I have nothing else other than to thank you for coming out. And again, please spread the word if you can about the Joliet Focus app. Download it and share it with your friends and those you work with.
Well, thank you all for coming. As I always do in the classroom, clap everybody up. Thank you for coming. Thank you for investing your time and effort. Have an awesome Wednesday and have a safe and restful week. Mr. Lucas, I'm gonna give you a call because I got an idea for you and Miss Charlene. I just thought about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And hopefully, and we will see you in person in August. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good day,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.